Now, if you're a champion, would you want to have your champion or somewhat of a contender playing like this? This is Everton Arsenal. And if you think Arsenal, if you're all thinking this might be Arsenal's here and they're playing at a, elite level, would you want them to finish the game 1-0? Because when you look at that game, they didn't actually create any chances worthy. I mean, there was a sitter that I was who missed it, Gyökeres, or I'm trying to figure.
Trossard hit one off the post. Yeah. That was a real bummer.
Yeah, but apart from it, like open plays, the real creativity at the front, it wasn't really there. And the question is that how a champion is supposed to play? Well, let's chill the champion word for now. Is that how someone that's contending for that place is supposed to play?
The answer is yes, but not all the time.
Yeah.
Because the important thing is not necessarily having the flashiest performance, the most energetic performance. It's about getting the 3 points. That's where
I agree with that.
There are plenty of times in a Chelsea, Liverpool, old Manchester United season where, they'll have a dry run of performance or form, but still getting all the points that they can possibly get.
That's true.
However, it's when that becomes the baseline performance.
Yeah.
That should be the low point. The low point is you still walking away with a full amount of points.
Yeah.
If you're going to be the champion of this league in particular. Other leagues, with less competition at the top, you can get away with dropping points. You cannot drop points in this particular league. So it does come down to just maintaining the points, staying at the top of the table. These are the performances that can win championships in a pinch.
Yeah.
But it does feel like they are slightly dropping back down into this malaise. When they started the season, it was that they were controlled victories.
Yes.
They were getting 1-0s, maybe a 2-0, and they weren't playing flashily, but they were in control. The game was never in jeopardy. And then they kind of hit a slump, and then they had a bit of a hot peak for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Now it feels like they're slightly uninspired. The results just have to come back through. That draw to Chelsea and Sunderland were not ideal. But again, these victories are the ones that do matter almost more than slapping the absolute shit out of a top opponent. That's where you can drop 2 points for the draw. Is against Liverpool or Manchester City away from home. These are the ones that you have to get all 3 points. Good day in the park, bad day in the park, doesn't matter. You got them. But it does feel like it's getting a little bit more habitual, this quality of performance.
You know what I was thinking the other day? I think I mentioned it to one of my coworkers. He's an Arsenal fan too. And I was telling him that if Arsenal plays like this, and they still have to play City, and if City keeps playing like what City is doing right now, then that's probably...
And even Liverpool.
Yeah, and that's the match where City takes it home. Because if they both don't... Assuming they don't lose their games individually. And well, Arsenal always had a better record against City, but I think that's the game where City might take it home.
Yeah. Well, and even Liverpool have a nice run for January of very winnable fixtures.
Yeah.
And by the time that they play Arsenal again, let's say that Arsenal drop 2 more points let's say that they draw twice.
Yeah.
4 points lost, and then Liverpool squeak out a win. I mean, they're right there.
Yeah.
In the same way that City are. So Liverpool are still not out of it. Arsenal have to just be perfect. Yeah. Essentially,
Aston Villa is kind of gunning for you guys though. It's just 3 points between Arsenal and Aston Villa, and City 2 points. So Aston Villa have become a real contender, and we can also say, oh well, they're not playing Europe because they are. It might have been Champions League, but they're playing Europe, right? So you can't say that because they're also having a lot of matches or games to play. So right now
they could really benefit from something in the FA Cup as well.
Oh,
I think that so there's actually a debate that kind of goes around in this sort of way when because they're legitimate contenders for the Europa League.
Oh yeah.
For the Euro, they should win that league.
Yeah.
They should be European champions. They are legitimately in contention for the Premier League. They might not be at the same statistic level. Liverpool might actually have more of a likelihood just because of their experience.
Yeah.
Period. Not their form. In their form, Villa still have that number 1, but I mean,
At some point, yeah. Especially when you get closer, it comes down a lot more. Especially when teams don't have that quality they used to.
Yeah.
For them, it becomes experience.
yeah. So it's like they need to actually keep pushing in every single competition. I wouldn't want to hyper fixate on maintaining this form in the Premier League. I think that the way that Unai Emery's tactics are implemented too, it's that like you almost want them more minutes in general, regardless of competition, because they've got a very tight squad. They don't necessarily have the deepest bench, but they do have some guys there. I mean, they're a fun side to watch, and yeah, I think that they're legitimately in contention for everything that every competition they've been involved with this year.
So, do you think Everton even had a shot in this game if Trossard, Saka, or Zubimendi score early in that game? Because Everton, basically, they just let you guys play, and they, there's the low block team. And I remember when we were discussing about this low block, this was a real problem for Arsenal. How do you unlock a low block team without doing the show every time? Or, but that's why you brought in guys like AZ and the like. But it's still kind of a little problem.
Who didn't get any minutes there? And I think that Odegaard's having some trouble acclimating back.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel as positive on the ball as he used to. Eze does though. Eze's playing more like what Odegaard was playing 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
And Odegaard's really wanting to stall and hold onto the ball a lot more. Saka's incredibly positive as well and is able to almost always, left or right foot, get the ball away from him into the box. He does have a knack for it. There's just nobody on the receiving end. I think that's consistent enough. And I think that's a Gyökeres problem. And yeah, you can give him a penalty every once in a while to feel good, or you can give him an absolute sitter where even he can seem to hit it. But assuming that he were like, they need a center forward that is pacey, that can get in behind defenders, that you can lace balls through. That's where Declan Rice excels. That's where Martin Odegaard excels. And I think that's where Zubimendi can as well, from deep.
Yeah.
But you have to open up those channels. You have to play a little bit more wide. But you don't have a center forward that can do that. He can't put his back to goal.
Yeah.
And he can't dribble the ball to save his life. So it has to be a one-stop shop for him inside the box to be effective, or you just give him all the penalties.
You know what's crazy though? Before we finish this, I had the stat probably 2 weeks ago. Then it just popped up in my head too, so I don't have the exact numbers. But this crazy Arsenal fan guy that sometimes pop on our TikTok, and I was looking at what he did. So he looked.
Are you talking about a channel or like a commenter?
No, a channel. This is the whole thing. He's more like just Arsenal.
Gotcha. Okay.
And his argument was, Gyökeres can do more, but he has less. And what he did, he pulled out every time that Odegaard made a pass, and he never went to Gyökeres. He never sent a pass to Gyökeres.
Yeah.
Never. And he was saying that if that's the case, then you can't really blame Gyökeres for not having a ball that never going to him in the first place. So he's trying to say that Odegaard might not be the guy for this team anymore because he's not really.
I understand that, but and I would ask the person that said this politely, because he makes good points. If you get so few touches on the ball, what are you expecting? But that's what a striker's job is to do. A striker's job is to not hold the ball up. I mean, they can do that. That can be in their arsenal, but But with a striker, you want as few touches on the ball.
Yeah.
You want those to be final touches into the back of the net.
If your striker never gets the ball,
exactly.
He never has it.
And then I would ask this question next. Have you seen Gyökeres dribble? Truly, that's not a guy that unless it's a one-on-one with the keeper, if I can send it over the top, but he's not even a pace fiend either, man. So assuming that your center half doesn't catch back up to him, and now it's a 2-on-1.
Yeah.
I don't trust him to be able to get the ball past any sort of defender. The ball has to be separate from him in an all-out sprint, and he meets up with the ball behind the defender.
Yeah.
That's not often where Gyökeres is finding himself.
Yeah.
But he's not effective anywhere else. He's not, he's very limited in what he can do on the ball.
The ball, yeah.
So unless he's there with one final touch ready to go, I wouldn't pass it to him either. I understand.
Well, and, wouldn't that be the situation? Like you remember when Benzema said we shouldn't pass the ball to Vinicius, right? But once you are more comfortable and people actually believe in you, that gives you the knack for, hey, I can do this. But if they don't, I'm just making a case.
Sure.
Here.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you bring a guy like that with that much money you paid for, you got to get your bucks out, right?
Yeah. It's like, well, and then, it's very clear when you see him on the ball, though.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's not what Arteta needs here. Truly. Because everybody else in the attack, and hell, even the guys on, there's no one in that Arsenal lineup that's bad on the ball.
Yeah.
Except for your number 9, who needs to have a clinical final touch, and he does not.